We are watching the Motivational Mondays. I am here right now to make sure that I am in fact streaming live. Definitely love it when you guys say, hi, Sherry, how are you? So please jump on and let me know that I've got some peeps. That always takes like 30 seconds. There we are. I am live. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So now I can see who is on. So please say, good morning, Sherry. Say happy Monday. It is November 1st. We are creeping towards a new year. And I had an interesting conversation with somebody yesterday, and that was the topic in mind that I wanted to bring to today's Motivational Monday. Hello, Melissa. Please tag your friends. If you know that they're dealing with, let's say, toxic people, drama, clicks, gossip, any of these things, if they find that they get themselves caught up in this kind of a world, then that is the topic that we will be talking about today. So hashtag Monday. Hello, Alex. Hey, we've got our Build the Bag coming up. I'm thinking the third week of November. Let me know if that works for you, Alex, for our Build the Bags. And this time I'd actually like to bring everything up to Ottawa. I was in Ottawa last week, and man, it is prevalent, the homeless situation there in Ottawa. So guys, today we are going to talk about your Motivational Monday, and tonight we do have the last mastermind of this week's 6 weeks challenge on detox. So if you're looking to detox the body and understand the science behind that without all the gimmicky, cleansy pills and shakes and nonsense that people talk about all the time, then tonight's the night to join in on that mastermind tonight at 7 p.m. Hello, Marie. Hi, Michelle. So nice to have you there. Please make sure to say hello so that I know who I'm talking to. I love it when I know who I'm talking to. Okay, circling back around to yesterday's conversation, I have 0 notes for today's podcast. Everything is coming and shooting at you from the hip. So let's see how that goes down. I had a call with a potential client yesterday, and within about 30 seconds of the call of me saying, hello, how are you? What's going on in the status of your life? I had already found out that she, got divorced 4 years ago. Her husband cheated on her. This is what she thought of the skank. This is the type of drama that they went through because of the divorce. Since then, her daughter has had this traumatic relationship with the ex-husband, that she's flown all the way to Alberta to go and bring this person home, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Not to belittle any of that life, because that's life. That's the types of things that we go through. And for sure, that was very hard and emotional to deal with. So certainly not putting anything against that, except for the fact that I found all of this out within about 2 minutes of the call. And when I asked her where she wanted to go from here, like, you're 55 years old, what's next? What's your next chapter? Her first instinct was to dive into this therapist that she's seeing, and that the schedule wasn't right, and that her therapist wouldn't offer her after our hours things, and that the therapist wasn't the right person for her, and went back and forth. And then I said, okay, I understand that, reasonable. So let's go back to understanding what you ultimately want for yourself, where you want to be. Like, what would you like for you? The response was to go back to the ex-husband to tell me more about this person he cheated on, and so on and so forth. So I think you're getting the idea of what I'm talking about here, is that this woman in particular, between her and her daughter now, are so wrapped up in toxic people, in this drama, in this course of events, that they've completely lost their ability to sink or swim, to look after themselves, to pick themselves up in a form of chaos. And, for me, when I was speaking with her, I said, listen, I am the type of coach who does not get wrapped up in our previous life's events. We absolutely have to acknowledge them. We recognize them. We have to absolutely look to see what we could have done better from our sides. Ultimately, why was that person cheating on her? Was there something going on in the marriage where maybe she wasn't meeting her end of the bargain at the same time? We don't know. He could have just been one of those guys that cheat, or maybe she wasn't fulfilling that agreement when you get married. And I won't bother to go down that rabbit hole, but essentially it's the past. It's 4 years ago. What's next? What's in the next chapter? And I told her, I cannot help you until you figure out you, because you're so wrapped up in everyone else and the reasons why things don't work because of everyone else. I've asked you 3 times, what do you want to see within yourself within 3 months? And we kept going around in this circle. So ultimately, I gave her access to our Master Your Momentum mini course. And I said, why don't you go ahead and watch these videos and only book a call with me again when you feel like you're ready to work on you. So, we're dramatically influenced over toxic people in our life. And at some point, we really have to decide, do I want these kind of toxic people in my life? Are they dragging me down? Is this someone that I can rely on to support me? Are they going to pull me down, or are they going to lift me up? And conversely, what kind of person are you, right? Are you someone who brings and invites drama into your life? Are you someone who loves to chitty chatter, in the backgrounds and just, really fluff up any kind of given situation? Or are you someone who really stands up and says, okay, that's their life, that's their situation, this is my thing, and I don't need to wrap myself around with whatever drama is going on with that thing. And what, as a person, are you contributing to gossip, drama, toxicity in other people's lives? Do you find yourself sitting in a situation where you are on the phone with someone for a half an hour, or you are texting all day, and basically talking about people behind their backs? Because that is your contribution towards that negative energy footprint, which I think is so important. It's a rather crazy thing that I've seen in my career, because I've worked with women specifically since 2003. I started off for 6 years helping women get started in business. And for the last, however long ago that was, I've spent the equal amount of time helping with, fitness and nutrition. And there's one thing that I've always noticed time and time again, is that there seems to be this draw for women to create closed circles. And it's a very curious thing, because I had another gal who messaged me. We were having a conversation a couple of weeks ago, and she says, there's always new people coming into the program, and I find that I feel very disconnected from those new people, and that I miss the original people that used to be here. And in the gym business, as you can appreciate, there's flows of people coming and going, and times of schedules that work, that don't work. And there's always this fluctuation that's always been the case since I've been in the business. And you have to always be adaptable to go with those flows. But the one thing that I find very curious is, she's certainly not the first person that's told this to me. Time and time again, there are people who, they come into a tribe and they have their group that they went through the challenge with, and then it ends there. And that got me to questioning. It's like, people love the sense of community. They love the engagement and interaction when you have this thriving community, but for some reason it's got to stay in this little small ball. And I just wonder, as a person here, let's say, who's hosting all these videos and all that kind of stuff, I just wonder where I would be in my career if I felt like I could only focus on 10 to 15 people at a time, or 20 or 25 people at a time. That, once those people, that was it, like, that's the core of my life. And, I just wonder what it would look like if every time we did have new people join the group or the challenge, that we always had these big, warm, welcoming hands, arms, to be excited to meet new people. Does this make sense? Hashtag makes sense. I want to see who's watching here. We got Danae here, we got Marie, we got Michelle, we got Alex. Comment down below, hashtag makes sense if you're with me on this. Or do you feel that there's a certain element of comfort when it comes to kind of staying in that circle? Or what would it look like if you were the type of person who was always excited to meet somebody new, who was always excited to welcome somebody into the tribe and show them around and say, here's where you find this and here's where you find that. Can't wait to meet you and get you in there and all that kind of stuff. So it was just a couple of questions that I had rolling through my mind. And I came across a podcast that I did 2 years ago, which I decided to share with you guys today. So I'm going to hop on over and share my screen on my YouTube channel. And I'm going to share this podcast with you of what I said about the laws of attraction. Hashtag laws of attraction if you're with me on this. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share this podcast with you. And let's see what you think about it. Let me share my sound first though, because I think I did that wrong. Share sound, then I can share this. All right, let's see.
And so to talk about the laws of attraction, I want to talk about your mindset and your language and the people around you who could be impacting and influencing your progress and your own transition. So you guys have decided to join this 6-week challenge. And as I promised you, this is way more than a fitness and nutrition kind of gimmicky 6-week plan. Okay. I think you guys have figured out by now that we really dive deep. And before we start next week, this is your opportunity to connect with your old self, identify some of the roadblocks that were getting in your way, and trying to figure out some of the new mental mind shifts that you need to make, those corrections that you need to make in order to really see change. I touched on it briefly yesterday. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into it now. The first thing you need to recognize is the language that you're choosing to use, because that falls directly into play with the laws of attraction. If you have not seen the movie The Secret on Netflix, or I think you can download it on YouTube, you have to go and watch The Secret. Really grasp and understand this concept because it's absolutely true. The way how you absorb things and bring things in and project things out into the universe will directly be related to how your life is impacted. And the language that you choose to use is crucial. You need to constantly be using positive words, positive mindsets to attract the things in life that you want. If you continuously wallow in a hole, that is exactly where you're going to stay. When you use words like crisis and doomsday and marooned on an island and all of these heavy words that continuously capture you into this place of wallowing and despair, and you feel like there's drama all around you, that's exactly where you're going to live, and that's exactly where you're going to stay. You need to work extremely hard to shut out the noise. There are dramatic people in your life and they love to suck you in, and I refuse to do it. I refuse to do it. So if you are one of those people who are messaging me or my coaches or people in this challenge about this turmoil that you're living in and that you can't get out of this drain, you've come to the wrong place. I will not indulge in it, and I've instructed my coaches not to indulge in it, and you will have no right to post it on the feeds because it will be deleted. This is not the place to go down the drain. This is the place to pull yourself up. And how you pull yourself up is you need to shut out that noise. You need to put it aside. This is your 6 weeks to come internally, to get out of the drama, to get out of the holy chaos that you feel like you might be going through in your life. There is no chaos. When you get up in the morning, you have to go through 1 hour at a time, 10 minutes at a time, one morning, afternoon, or night at a time. And you have to deal with the things that are thrown at you. And if you do them in a way where, first of all, you think of every possible way of preventing things from occurring. You take a very proactive approach. And one of those ways of being proactive is in your preparations of food, making sure you're putting the right food in your body, making sure you're moving your body. I get up at 4 a.m., you guys know this, to make sure I get done what I need to get done. And then I'm in bed by 9 p.m. to make sure I get adequate sleep so that when I wake up in the morning, I've got lots of energy. Do I deal with anxiety and panic attacks and all those sort of stuff? Sure, I do sometimes. I had one the other day. And then I realized it was probably my pre-workout that triggered that, and probably nothing else. We have to be logical about things. We have to be strong, and you're going to have your good days and you're going to have your bad days. But if you want to be in that drama all the time, that's where you're going to stay. And now it's a time to focus on shifting your mindset. And the first thing you need to do is identify where your weaknesses are. Okay. All that time that you spend typing and texting and calling and living in that drama by trying to chat about it with other people, that's the precious time you could be using to prepare your foods, to do your groceries, to make sure you're on top of it, to using your motivational videos on YouTube, to put positive messages into your ears. Rather than constantly type and try to bring other people into your world, you need to start to identify your world on how to fix it with what you need to start putting in your ears, not what you're putting out, right? It's so important. When I go through my struggles, when I have my hard times, I put on my YouTube videos that are some of my favorite ones, and I listen to these things every morning. And it talks about habits, and it talks about perseverance, and it talks about confidence, and it talks about consistency, and it talks about hard work and focus and walking down that straight path to the goals and the success that you want. And I've always been very successful in the things that I set out to do, because I, even though I have the same struggles as everybody else with external drama and people trying to do things to interrupt my patterns or my own self-esteem or confidence that might sometimes get in the way, you have to put on the blinders to those things and stay focused in on the goals that you have and connect yourself with people that are going to bring you up and not down. And you're going to find very quickly that if you are someone who tries to message with me by bringing me down the drain with you, I will not respond. I have a sink or swim mentality. I will not engage or indulge. I will do a video like this for you, and I will talk to you, and I will offer you all the strength, motivation, and inspiration that I can to carry you through your hard time. And I will pump you up one time. And you can watch this video 100 times, but I will not engage daily on conversations that are indulging the drain, right? So we all have our moments when we need people. And I think sometimes you need to talk, sometimes you need to vent, sometimes you need to share your emotions, and that's amazingly okay. There is no problem with that. You can share a struggle. I'm struggling with this right now. But if you live there, if you stay there, if it's something where you have to tell 20 people throughout the day because you have to keep searching for, when you talk to people about your problems, you're doing it because you need something. You need reassurance. You need to indulge in it. You need the conversation. You're lonesome. There's a reason. There's a reason why you need to stay and live in the moment. And then you're going to find that there's a drama today, and there's a drama tomorrow, and there's a drama next week and next month and all of next month and for the next 6 months. And next thing you know, when you look back behind you over the past year, you realized you've constantly lived in this dream, right? Because you're attracting that. You attract it into your life. So every day, wake up with a mission. I have a role model. I don't know her name. I saw this on a YouTube documentary at some point. And here was, I think it was when I watched The Cure for Cancer, or The Truth About Cancer. And there was this woman, and she was in her 80s, and she battled cancer for some 15 years, and not one person knew about it. She refused to indulge the cancer by even telling one person about it. And they only knew she had cancer when she died. And they did the autopsy, and then they found out later. I don't know exactly how. I'm not going to make this stuff up, but I remember her story that she did not indulge in it. She did a lot of community work. She did a lot of volunteer work. She focused her mind and her energy on the giving. And she did not try to bring anybody into her cancerous world. She fought it on her own. She found her own strength. And the way how she dealt with that pain was by giving to others. And I find tremendous strength in that. And sometimes when I'm going through my hardest times, that's when I give the most. Because sometimes to get you through the hardest times that you're going through, you focus on other people, and you find that you've ridden that wave out the other side. So anyways, I've always promised to try and keep these videos short. I know I can ramble on, just making sure I have covered everything that I want to. I think in a summary, in a nutshell, be very mindful of the language that you're using. And if you have not done my Hack Your Schedule workshop, I recommend that from the mind mapping point of view, because you need to mind map all of the language that you're using and you need to see this down on paper. And when you mind map the kind of language that you're using, you're going to just see that spider web of what you're attracting into your life. And for this week, you need to focus on the laws of attracting, of what you are attracting into your life. You need to focus on your emotional relationship with food. And I've got an emotional relationship with food video in our files, and I can do another one. So you start identifying that connection that you have with food that really ties those two things in together. And then once you identify the negative language that you're using in your mind, then you need to get the frig away from people that drag you down the drain. If you've got people in your life that are negative, that are trying to drown you and drag you in, go for a walk and get the frig out of their way. Get in the car, go for a drive, put in your iPods. Do not engage or indulge in these people. Get the frig away from them. Stop it. Okay? Everyone has a choice to sink or swim. It is not your responsibility to pick everybody up. You have a responsibility when it comes to your kids to put a roof over their shoulders, to give them a hug when they need it, and to feed them proper food and put clothes on the back. That's the responsibility that you have with your food, with your kids. When it comes to your husband, there's only so much indulgence that you're going to do with your husband before you need to decide to sink or swim yourself. And if they pull you down, then get the frig out and go and do something else. Get away from them. Everyone has an opportunity and a choice to sink or swim, and you can only be there for so much, for so long, for so many people before it pulls you down. And then you have to decide if you're going to sink or swim. And you get up in the morning and you decide, sink or swim. Am I going to sink today? Am I going to swim today? Am I going to use the life jacket? But to hell, I'm not going to pull everyone else down with me. To hell with that. I'm not going to talk about my shit anymore with everybody in all the world of Vildre. I'm going to use my time, instead of typing and texting to other people, I'm going to use that time with YouTube in my ears to sink or swim. And I hope you choose to swim. Pull yourself up. Pull everybody else up, not down. Right? It's time now. It's time to get strong. It's time to master this. It's time to take control over this. It's time to change your mindset. And you're going to do that together with us in the 6 weeks. So I haven't seen any comments rolling in, just the way MindBody or whatever this is, Zoom has structured this today. I'll go in and check any comments that you may have right now as I log off. But if you've got anything to say, by all means, hashtag your health is non-negotiable, hashtag new mindset, hashtag.
Woo! Go Sher, go. That is the 2018 me. Very passionate. So yeah, I believe strongly that, you know, be conscious of the footprint that you're leaving behind you when it comes to your interactions with other people. It's not always easy. Definitely something to be mindful of. I always am cross-checking. What am I saying? What am I doing when it comes with other people? Am I creating positive energy, or am I creating, negative energy? When it comes to holding on to things from the past, at some point, I think being able to have someone to talk to is really important. And I think going through those healing processes is also really important. But at some time, you have to be able to let it go, right? Does everyone kind of feel the difference there? Yes, when everything first happens, oh my gosh, I can't believe all this happened. And then you work through some of that healing. And if it's your friends, your family, your therapist, whoever it may be, to override some of that, that initial pain. But 4 years later, it's definitely time to move on and focus on where you want to go and pick up yourself, put yourself on your own 2 feet, get emotionally strong, physically strong, financially strong, mentally strong. These are the 4 strongs that I'm trying to help women passionately overcome, so that at one point in their life, they're in a place where they want to be, not in a place where they need to be, because they're emotionally locked in, they're financially locked in, and they don't have an opportunity to escape a situation that's not working for them, because they're trapped to some degree. And then they just get, pulled into this turmoil again and again and again. And I had a client in this past year where, when I was working with her for 4 months, I said, please go back and look at the very first message you sent me 4 months ago. You were sending me sad messages 4 months ago, and you're continuously sending me these little sad emojis 4 months later. Work on the evolution of your mindset, your emotional well-being, your financial well-being, so that you are strong enough, a strong powerful woman to stand on your own 2 feet and make the life adjustments that are necessary as life gets thrown at you. And with that, guys, you got to rock and roll, right? You got to be able to always pick yourself up, especially when things are tough. That's when you've got to be the strongest yourself to be able to keep moving and pushing forward, thinking things through logically with the least amount of emotional decisions. Stop, process the emotion, put the emotion aside, get logical thinking in place to make smart, strong decisions to move you forward. And with that, guys, that is your motivational Monday today. So showing you that Sherry of 2018 is still working on those same messages of 2021. And with that, guys, if this podcast was useful, please hashtag useful podcast. I really, really love it and appreciate it when I know that they've served you. And with that, guys, I'm going to wish you a great day. Bye.